Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the UFC 313 Undefeated Post Weigh-In Show, complete without the tinfoil cap this week. I just got out of the car. I've been driving for 6 straight hours. Your boy is absolutely exhausted. However, I will not be leaving you hanging. I am not about to leave you guys hanging. You know I'm coming to you with your favorite MMA show of the week, regardless of circumstances. I will be here and I'll make sure it happens. We're Jimmy rigging it a little bit this time. It's not going to be perfect. I don't have my cool pictures to pull up for you or anything like that, but we are going to go ahead and make sure you guys get taken care of. First and foremost, though, I want to make sure you guys know that this episode of the podcast is going to be brought to you by Kalshi. I'm sure I'm not saying that correctly. Link in the description below. Promo code DIEHARD. If you trade up to $100, you're going to get a 10% kickback there. You'll get that $10 bonus. It is a brand new type of book. It's more of like a sports market, and they're super excited. They have added UFC lines for UFC 313 specifically. They're going to have the main event, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. It's the first time they're offering UFC anything on their site. So do me a favor, please. Click the link in the description below if you want to check it out. Use promo code DIEHARD to go ahead and get signed up. And like I said, if you're trading up to $100, you will get that 10% kickback. Really cool. Dip your toe in, try the UFC, and right now it's focused on mainly everything else. I will let you guys know that they're just getting the ball rolling for MMA, but they reached out. They wanted to make sure I let you guys know that it looks like they're going to be joining the pool. So check it out, jump in, and like I said, do me a favor, click the like button. Thank you very much. Let's get into it, everybody. I got my handy dandy iPad right here so I can review all the info here with you guys. First fight of the night, we got Ozzy Diaz and Jordan Santos. Dijon Mustard. I have no idea how to say that guy's first name. Santos takes on Ozzy Diaz, and you guys know me. I do my very best not to get overly swayed by anybody as far as, their size, right? Like, we need to know when people have a height and reach advantage. It is absolutely something that matters when it comes to fist fighting, but we try not to overcorrect in these situations. Ozzy Diaz is freaking big, you guys. When they face off, look at this, look at that. Ozzy Diaz is way bigger than this guy. I was not expecting that. He's been fighting at 205, dropping back down to 185 for this one. I am not impressed with Ozzy Diaz, but I do like this guy's offense. I like an under in this fight. I don't really want to lay minus 200 on Santos, but you won't catch me betting on Ozzy Diaz. This is straight up fireball and popcorn, you guys. Sit back, kick back, enjoy this first fight of the night, and hope somebody gets knocked out stiff. Ozzy Diaz has never seen the judges' scorecards. I would not expect him to start on Saturday. So I like an under here to kick off this first fight of the night, but besides that, I'm leaving it alone. John Castaneda and Chris Gutierrez coming in here. Gutierrez ever so slightly taller than John Castaneda. You guys know I'm a big Sexy Mexi fan. I wonder how he's going to deal with those leg kicks. We're going to be in the big cage. I think he's going to be chasing Chris Gutierrez a lot, and I worry a little bit about the height and reach disadvantage. This is a catch weight. This whole fight's weird. It's one of the only pick'ems on the card, you guys. I am picking John Castaneda to win this fight, but it's another one where, frankly, I just don't feel good enough about it to actually put my hard-earned money on it. You might be able to find a good live opportunity if Castaneda is able to get the wrestling going, or if Gutierrez is really just chipping away with the leg kick, but the numbers, the live betting, they're not respecting it because it looks like the more significant strikes are coming from John. Maybe you can find a live entry, but that's really the only way I'd play this one. I kind of think it's an over that's chalked up. It's not going to be sexy to play, but I lean with the over 2.5 as well. Francis Marshall takes on Marion Santos in the next fight, and holy crap, Francis Marshall has been taking those ATT vitamins. My boy looks good on the scales this week, you guys. These two size up really, really freaking well. Good intense face-off as well. Francis Marshall, usually kind of a chill, happy-go-lucky guy. He is staring death on this particular fight. We've got the Ultimate Fighter winner taking on somebody who's got 3 or 4 UFC fights under his belt at this point. This line is just too wide for me, you guys. I picked Marion Santos to win this fight. I think he's going to sprawl and brawl. I like the way he pot shots. We've seen Francis Marshall get stuffed and hurt on the feet before, so unless he just has like the absolute peak performance of his life, I think he's going to lose this fight. But I think it's going to be a close fight. I think it's going to be a decision. I think it's one of those ones where the parlay boys, they get by with that thumbs up because Marion Santos gets the job done. But I don't think it's going to be without a sweat. This is your butthole pucker of the night. I think if you bet on Francis Fire Marshall, you're going to feel real good about yourself until they read the judges' scorecards and they let you know that Marion Santos won the fight. So I kind of like the plus 3.5. We've been talking about the spreads a lot lately. I kind of feel like this is a close fight, and unless Santos is able to just kill Fire Marshal late in this fight, I think we're going to go to a greasy split decision type of fight here. So I would lean with the plus 3.5 on Francis Marshall if you're looking for some action here. My boy Carlos Leal returns, taking on Alex Morono, one of the most underrated guys in the division. And this one's crazy because these two guys size up actually really well. Morono ever slightly the taller of the two, but Carlos Leal is about twice as wide as this guy and 10 times more jacked. Holy crap. This guy's got veins popping out every which way. He is ready to go. But I thought he was going to be bigger. I will be honest with you guys. I really thought he was going to be physically larger and more imposing here in this face-off with Alex Morono. Carlos Leal at minus 800 is a fool's errand. Absolutely insane. I mean, even for a guy that we all think is going to win by knockout, you just can't be laying that kind of a price tag. At the end of the day, he's a PFL guy. I think he wins this fight. I really do. But does he knock Alex Morono out? Morono's a really tough guy to put away. And now especially, like we said, we try not to overreact when it comes to the size stuff. But with these guys having similar height and reach, I can see Morono playing a little bit of Matador, working behind the jab, moving a whole lot. And when you get a guy fighting like that, it's real hard to find that kill switch. So we see Alex Morono go the distance a lot. He's been wobbled a couple times, but he's very hard to actually like put away. Maybe this is a fight that goes to the judges' scorecards. You could get a Carlos Leal decision here as opposed to a finish, which, I mean, I was kind of dead set on this thing going the way of finish earlier in the week. So now I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm getting cold feet on that. There's something about these minus 800 favorites that you guys know me. It always gets me a little sketched out. I don't want to touch it. I want nothing to do with it. Armin Petrosyan takes on Bruno Ferreira. Bruno, a guy that I really have not had a great read on. Still kind of think he's got, fraud vibes to some extent. You've got Armin Petrosyan, a guy who's underperformed as far as my expectations are concerned. Armin Petrosyan, much, much larger, right? When they face off, this is definitely like looking down at little bro type of situation here. But Bruno Silva's got that little dog syndrome in him. He doesn't know how short he is. He has no problem. Great intense face-off, great stare down. This is one where I'm picking Armin Petrosyan to win the fight, but you guys know that just means that Bruno Silva is going to bonk him and knock him out in the first round with some fluke type of spinning KO. It's coming, it's happening. So I am not putting my money on Armin Petrosyan. That's this entire fight card, you guys. This whole card is people that I've had semi-terrible reads on and just can't make money betting on or against. So I'm being very careful, treading very lightly, because I think we're going to see some kind of chaos here on this card, and fights exactly like this one are going to be the ones that don't quite go the way that you expect them to. So I'm being careful. I'll pick Armin Petrosyan, but I'm fully prepared to be wrong about that. Josh Van takes on Ray Tsuruya. Both guys look fantastic. They face off. It's hard to tell because Ray does his cool little ninja pose thing when they face off, but Ray Tsuruya has actually got a decent little size advantage here on Josh Van. And frankly, you guys, I think that's something that may play in this fight way more than we're expecting it to. I talked about wanting to play that plus 3.5 spread on Ray Tsuruya. It's minus 145. I actually think that's a good look. I kind of like that in this spot because Josh Van typically starts a little bit slow, takes a little bit to heat up, so you're going to concede that first round, and as long as you don't get finished by this guy late, you can bank that 29-28 losing decision, which will cash the plus 3.5 spread bet. And frankly, in this fight, I could see Ray pulling the outright win. I could see him rolling for an ankle and snapping Josh Van's leg in half. He attacks submissions that someone like Josh Van, his limited experience in MMA, he's just not going to be prepared to defend those types of attacks. I'm really excited about this fight. It's a really weird matchup where the UFC is absolutely sacrificing one of these guys, and I'm not sure which one, because Josh Van seems like he's got all the hype right now, but Ray seems like he's a legitimate blue chip prospect. We'll find out which one of those is true on Saturday. I think I like the plus 3.5 spread bet on Ray Tsuruya, and outside crazy shot that maybe he actually submits Josh Van. Rizvan Kuniev takes on Curtis Blades in the next fight, the only heavyweight action on the card. Rizvan Kuniev, my goodness, he looks like Hamdi Abdelwahab. He's giving serious vibes. The dude is thick. The dude is meaty. Lighting is really pulling some serious weight in his UFC photos. Guy looks like me without a shirt on. Curtis Blades up there looks much more physically fit. These two guys actually size up really well. Curtis Blades a bit, tall and skinny, as opposed to the hulking form here of Rizvan Kuniev. The dude is built like Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z. He's a big man. He packs a punch. You know what? I am just done with this number on Curtis Blades. I know he's always been like the second best guy in the division, unless you're the champion or just one of these vicious power punchers. Curtis Blades whoops that ass. But I kind of have a bad feeling that Rizvan Kuniev is maybe going to show some people something this weekend. People talking about him getting to be clean coming over to the UFC. They don't. The UFC doesn't give two craps about what you put in your body these days, guys. Let's be real. They just gave John Jones a 50 clean test jacket. They actually walked John Jones, of all people, up on stage and gave him a jacket for clean testing. We're done. Rizvan Kuniev probably has ice and fire flowing through those veins. So I fully expect him to come out here and do some stuff that maybe people aren't expecting. I am just a little too chicken to pull the trigger on it. But I actually like, what if he just bonks Curtis Blades? Like, I could see it. I can totally envision this man coming in here and just bonking Curtis Blades for the 7th time, because it's happened a lot, quite frankly. And then I think we're going to get really a lot of cage pushing. This is one of those ones where the line is probably too wide based on how the fight plays out, because it's probably going to be a lot of just grappling, and Blades gets taken down relatively easily. These guys can pin each other up against the fence relatively easily. It's going to be a greasy, disgusting, classic heavyweight fight, and I'm here for it. Next up, you have got Rufi taking on King Green, which, we talked about. And Nerd Gregor over here with his glasses. This is absolutely a fight that looks like a changing of the guard type of spot. Rufi is a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, a little bit longer. Like, these guys are in the same weight class, but you've just got one guy that's younger that's just going to be naturally larger and more physical. Bobby Green, to his credit, he's fighting glasses with glasses. Dude stepped up there with his own 6 set of shades. You love to see it. Really good face-off, really intense face-off. I think Rufi by KO, guys. Like, I'm the same as everybody else, right? Like, I've been talking about taking the low-hanging fruit. We've been talking about taking advantage of these situations that should be easy cashers, and I keep on letting them slip through my fingers. It's like minus 135 Rufi to win by KO. Bobby Green is old. Bobby Green's been cracked. He's been getting hurt a whole lot lately, and this Rufi kid hits freaking hard. I think he probably puts Bobby away at some point in this fight. Rufi by KO is the only way I could really look at it. If you're one of the psychopaths that want to bet Bobby Green by decision, I love you. I respect that move. I can't quite get there myself, but I absolutely respect it. Yasmin Lucindu takes on Amanda Lemos in the next fight, and these two actually size up pretty well. Weird body types. Like, they almost look like they're the exact same size, but you've got like a more lithe, lanky Amanda Lemos, and then kind of a more thick, stocky with a big head Yasmin Lucindu. Good face-off, respectful face-off. I know, guys, I know. The 10-year age gap, all that stuff, the neck tattoo angle we always talk about, like, I get all of that, but I just think this is way too much for Yasmin Lucindu way too early. She's going to have to basically spam body lock takedowns, and I don't know if that's going to be enough to win her this fight with how powerful and explosive Lemos is in this spot. I think she's going to feel shots that she's never felt in the UFC before, because Lemos hits way harder than anybody this 23-year-old girl has ever faced. And frankly, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Lemos pulls out her patented guillotine here this week. I kind of like Lemos for the upset. Not I kind of like, she's my dog of the week. I actually bet on her. We've got cash on Yasmin, against Yasmin Lucindu for the first time in her UFC career. So Amanda Lemos, let's go get it, girl. Ignacio Bahamondes and Jalen Turner. Both these guys are like mirror matches of each other. They're built the exact same way. This was a great face-off. I love Bahamondes' attitude. This is going to be a real fun fight, you guys. Absolute banger. And I had to pull the trigger. So my guy Andrew from Superbook Sports, Sharp Action Report, told us we do have big guy action here on Jalen Turner. However, that number is moving in his face. The sharp action is just steaming the other direction with Ignacio Bahamondes. He keeps on broadening out as a wider and wider favorite. I had to jump in, you guys. I got minus 130. I know it's a bad number, but I had to trust my read on this one. I had to trust myself on this one. I wanted Ignacio Bahamondes from the beginning of the week. I should have gotten in when this line was a pick'em. I missed the boat. I'm laying minus 130 at the end of the day. I'm hoping that I didn't make the mistake of jumping in too late. I'm just trying to do my best to pick the winner here in this fight. And I think the durability and the cardio of Ignacio Bahamondes is going to make the difference. And I think he's going to hurt Jalen Turner later in this fight and go ahead and get a win. Trusting in the training here with my boy Bilal. Let's freaking go. Rafael Fiziev and Justin Gaethje, these guys, we've seen this before. We know Justin Gaethje's a little bit bigger of the two, but my goodness, Rafael Fiziev has got one flex on him. That dude is thick, and he's coming back after a long layoff, but he looks like he's more than healthy. He's ready to go. He's chomping on the bit. He's been talking about that in all of his interviews. This is another one, you guys, where I've got to pick Fiziev, but I can't bet this fight because this is a pick'em type of fight. Justin Gaethje won the last fight. I know he's coming off a knockout loss, but Justin Gaethje's just not a guy I like to stand in front of. I've done the thing before where you bet against some guy when you think maybe they're on their way out or they're on their last legs, and if they're not quite done yet, you just end up donating. I'm not donating this time, so I think Fiziev is probably the side. Fiziev probably wins this fight, but Gaethje at plus money is something that I really can't argue with, so I'm just going to stay off this fight. This is one that I can just enjoy, violence sake, watch it, and have a good time. Main event, let's get into this thing. Don't forget, you guys, link in the description below. Check out Bet Openly of all places. You know we're rocking with Bet Openly as well. Best odds on the market, best numbers you're going to get on this main event. Click the link in the description below. Alex Pereira takes on Magomed Ankalaev, and I just can't get my head around, you guys, how this man ever made 185 pounds. Alex Pereira is the biggest 205-pounder on the freaking roster. Like, every one of these guys that's coming up and challenging him for the belt, he still towers over them, and he's coming up a weight class. It's insane that he ever cut down to 185 pounds, and he's absolutely massive at 205. Magomed Ankalaev looks good, looks confident. I know this is the uncrowned king. I know this is the guy that absolutely everybody has picked to go ahead and rule over this weight class, but I've been poking holes in both these guys, as you guys know, and I've been wrong every step of the way, especially on Pereira's side of things. I am going to pick Pereira for this fight, you guys. I don't have anything else juicy to add to this. You guys know I'm hands off on this one. I'm picking Pereira, but like my whole mode has always been fade Pereira, so my soul is screaming at me to bet Magomed Ankalaev. This is the spot where, you know, I could just stick with fading and I would finally be rewarded for it. But if I flip sides, I'm going to be wrong on that side too. So I have to just keep my hands in my pocket and wish you guys good luck. I think this fight is going to be violent. I do think we are going to get a finish one way or the other because both guys, low-key, a little bit chinny, a little bit hittable. So I totally can see both guys getting finished in one way, shape, or the other. I don't mind if you want to like anchor, you know, any parlays you have to like fight doesn't go the distance or something. It's an easy hedge for like the over. Make sure you lock up a middle. Make sure you lock up some cash. I really only have two major bets this week, you guys. I've got Bahamondes and I've got Limos. I'm going light this week because this is a good card for watching, in my opinion. Not a great one for betting. So let's save a couple of those bullets. We'll look to do more in the future. Hopefully we can bag a win this week. That's the Undefeated post-weigh-in show. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back on Monday for the full-on podcast, and next week for the Undefeated. I'll be back in the man cave, and we'll have the good setup, and I'll bring you all the fun little pictures and everything. I promise. I owe you guys. Let's roll.